I know this is a weird side tangent from my previous videos, but like, trust. It's been a long wait, I know, but give me a second. So a lot of factors in recent weeks have coalesced into this video about one of my pet peeves, the discussion around woke media. And you know I'm serious, because I said a big boy word like coalesce. What am I talking about? I usually just yap about Japanese drawings, so why am I yapping about this now? Well, you see, in recent times, there's been an influx of woke media. At least that's what it's called. And honestly, I'm kind of sick of it. At the garbage media being pushed out, I'm sick of that too, but I'm also sick of what the label woke has become. So without further ado, here's some further ado. I know it's been a while since a new video. I'm not gonna say why, so subscribe anyway, please. You'd be making an African happy without having to pay the price of a cup of coffee. Anyway, let's Akira slide into this conversation. Random deep cut reference, but if you know, you know. I'm yapping, let's go. Alright, so what exactly do I mean by me hating what the label has become? Hating wokeness? Well, if we're being honest, it's not more so that I hate wokeness itself. It's just so grating hearing people whinge on and on about wokeness in pretty much anything, and they don't even understand what the word means. People have warped the word to such an unrecognizable extent when even they don't even know what the actual meaning is. It's now suddenly derogatory to be woke. It's like basically the same thing that happened with feminism, where some people have this negative perception from the small, more radical feminists and decide the entire movement is that way when it really isn't. So now their reaction is, oh, they're feminists, so I'm just gonna ignore them. It's this warping of a whole movement to fit a narrative that it really bugs me. No jokes, no nothing, it just bugs me. So what does woke actually mean? Do you know? I'll give you a moment. See, the answer is simple. Being woke means being politically conscious. That's it. Being aware of political injustices and the like, maybe even vocalizing that. It's not pandering, it's not specifically advocating for something, it's not specifically shoving a message in people's faces. Brass tacks, it's just being conscious of the political environment and being against the injustices. Think things like Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly and Mr. Morale in the Big Steppers album. They had a bunch of wokeisms, especially the former, and all the shows that tackle societal injustices and the like without shoving them in your face, those are woke. In fact, even in old cartoons you like. My friend who I was talking to about this video highlighted that even shows like the Powerpuff Girls had a lot of woke ideas baked into the plot. The main characters being girls and being immensely powerful, it's kinda woke. The entire character of him, that was just obvious. The concept of the X-Men is woke. I don't have to explain this. If you're so media literate that you notice everything being against you in this woke apocalypse, I'm sure you can realize your favorite shows are against you too, according to your logic, right? But being woke isn't just tacking on a minority into something or just preaching a message to people like they're stupid. Being woke is being politically conscious, like I said. It just so happens that the bulk of political injustices have tended to be more to the detriment of minorities, and well, it's not your fault. Unless it is your fault, then it's your fault. But if it isn't your fault, it isn't your fault. You're following me? So with this in mind, how exactly would you justify being politically conscious as a bad thing? I just don't get how the word got this connotation of being woke being tantamount to being a joke, an unserious thing to brush aside and use as an argument as to why something is bad. Go woke, go broke, or whatever that childish rhetoric is. I can't for the life of me wrap my head around that concept. But speaking of shoving things in your face, which if you remember is something I spoke about a few minutes ago, if you were paying attention, there's this common happenstance where people lose their absolute shit when they see something quote-unquote woke. Black people on my TV screen? How dare they? What? How dare these gay people love each other in my presence? Why I oughta? It's like, okay, calm down, my guy. The minorities aren't gonna hurt you from your screen, at least not physically, I think. But why are they being shown more and more in television and games and the like? Why can't we go back to fucking 1982 or whatever when I could switch on my TV without seeing a minority on screen? Hey, so you know there's this thing called discrimination where certain marginalized groups didn't really get to be on media often, and when they were, it was through stereotypes, typecast, or just downright horrendous representations. None of these were mutually exclusive either, and most of the time it was all three simultaneously. because 2 or 3 stereotypes can coexist, like Cole said. So obviously, these groups were eventually going to get competent representation at some point, right? So clearly what you're seeing now is what TV would have been like if these groups weren't being gatekept from taking part in some older media. I mean, it is what TV is like when no one is being gatekept from the spotlight for the most part. So then where does this problem come from? There's all kinds of people in the world, so then why is there a problem when the main focus is on people of different race than you're used to? Surely this isn't an underlying problem within yourself here, right? I'm sure it isn't, so why are they showing you this? Why are these representations being rubbed in your face? Why can't you just watch television? You know, that's a good question. So you know how people have had to constantly fight through methods such as protests and the like to ever get their message or complaints heard? Yeah, basically almost physically rubbing your message in people's faces until they get it. And you know how many important causes in the past have been successful because of protesting? It's not zero. And well, with the internet and TV being as big as they are, what better place to go for getting your voice heard? If a TV show or game has a message it's trying to send, it's not going to start printing posters and handing them out to people. It's going to make it a central theme in either an episode or the entire series. And with the internet, as it stands, Twitter has companies in a chokehold. Public perception can a lot of times make or break their stability. Yeah, cancellation can sometimes be malicious, and other times it can fail to cancel people actually deserving of cancellation, but these companies don't want to take that risk, leading to what you call pandering, I guess. So why have companies caved and started representing minorities? Why are you seeing these people suddenly? What are pronouns doing in Space Game? Okay, so I don't personally agree with this method of people's livelihoods in entertainment media being terminated over political differences, unless it's like wholly deserved, which in and of itself is subjective as well, but I digress. While I can't fully get behind it, it's led to a lot of stereotypes and the like being tossed by the wayside for actual characters and good representation of minorities. Now this hasn't been perfect, because sometimes the writers and the like might not actually be that good at their job. Then we get the classic yap artist protagonist who attempts to be the next big mental comedy genius, and I can assure you that that's not an issue of race, gender, or anything like that. Calling a spade, that's just bad writing. You can't look me in the eyes. No, actually, here, these are my eyes, look at them. And tell me that there's never been a straight white male, like no seasoning male main character who's just written like a 13-year-old's fanfic. Can you really, without the shadow of a doubt, tell me that the problem with these characters is like their age, race, or like gender, their wokeness? Can you tell me that that's the problem with them? Like not terrible writing, just that? Because if that's what you're telling me, then you're just wrong. The wrongest even. See, this woke character issue is all just a matter of bad writing. That's it. That's the problem. You cannot act like there's never been bad characters in television or media in general before minorities and the like actually started getting representation on things. I mean, come on, be real here. In 2024, you are implying shows, movies, and games flop because the main character is black, a woman, Arabic, or etc. God forbid the main character be a black woman from a country that speaks Arabic. See what I'm saying? How ridiculous this is? To pin the blame of these things failing to one thing when it really all just comes down to writing and execution. Anything can suck with enough bad writing or terrible execution, but that has nothing to do with wokeness itself. In fact, in the best cases, we actually get phenomenally written characters who are part of previously or currently marginalized groups. Not to say that didn't happen in previous decades, but it's even more common now. It's a double-edged sword though. Because of strong popular main characters who aren't minor characters, male black characters have to fight a never-ending battle to not be given this little haircut right here. But nah, we'd win. Of course, there's also this issue of race swapping existing characters, and that whole topic is just a bit much for me. I personally don't really care if a character's race is changed unless their race is built into their character. Like, you can't change T'Challa to be white or something, because that makes no sense. The same is true for white characters too. If their ethnicity is something central to their identity, then don't change them. Of course, others might have stronger opinions in either direction, and this is just my opinion, and I'm just a dude. So do whatever the hell you want. Of course, if you get into a fight with someone over this, don't bring me up. I don't have a horse in this race. I just talk about Japanese drawings in my room in the 30 degrees Celsius summer. All this is to say that I die inside each and every time my favorite content creators ever mention something being woke as a bad thing. They have me in the fight of my life here. I just find it so weird that something positive like being politically conscious of injustices being committed and actively taking a stance against them has been weaved into some sort of derogatory title by the groups who have historically been the perpetrators of said social injustices, and people just sort of went with it. What people misconstrue for being woke is failed attempts at being woke, with the worst writing or being too preachy and not focusing on the actual content being good. Actual successful woke media is hailed as carrying the message without being woke. It's just so funny how incoherent the outrage over this whole topic is. If you fail at being woke, you failed because you were woke, not because you were just really awful. If you succeed at being woke, you're not woke, you're just actually good. It's such a funny situation we have here. It's why I believe wokeness won't be the death of the entertainment media, it's apathy towards it that will. Media representing minorities, no matter the quality, is them being woke, yes, but that's not where the issue lies. Sure, a lot of recent ones just put the message before the quality, but the actual good woke media is what got us here. It isn't bad of them to, I don't know, act on a minority's right to be portrayed fairly. The issue is when they are portrayed better at the detriment of others. That's when it becomes stupid. But to say the entirety of woke media is the issue, when at the core the only issue is the bad writing in a few of these woke media productions that in no way represent the entirety of the word itself. It's kind of disingenuous to treat something beloved like Static Shock as not being part of woke media, because woke media is Velma. It's Forspoken, it's Captain Marvel, right? I mean, come on, Static Shock has the exaggerated swagger of a black teen. He's our guy. Honestly, this is something that irks me to no end, and I hear this word being used wrong so often that it prompted me to hit a tone shift and make a video like this. All that said, I wouldn't call myself woke though. I'm kind of oblivious at times, airheaded even, but even I know how stupid the situation is. So be a bit more mindful of how you use the word and what exactly the actual issue in the entertainment industry is. We don't need to beat down things for being woke or different. We should be calling out the people who are terrible writers on their bullshit. Holding all writers to a higher standard of quality. That's what we should be doing. There's no issue with having a message in your entertainment media. The best stories do. So don't be outraged about things suddenly having a message nowadays, unlike the old days. Especially when older shows were pushing their own messages too. The difference, which is the one I've been drawing, is some shows or games or other things handle it better than others. Just because those relatively few fail does not mean the entire concept is bad. Anyway, that's the end of the video, and if you felt called out or anything, please don't be mean in the comments, I will be upset. And if you like Japanese drawings, maybe drop a sub. That wouldn't make me upset. I know I've missed a few Kagurabachi uploads in that, but February's been a busy month. I have another video to wrap up after this, and then I'm locking in. Stay tuned.